Yep, you know what time it is, man. This is, of course, your favorite channel, man, CTV. This is Chin Tuck Boxing. I'm, of course, your boy, Jay Slay. So what up to him, man?
What's up, everybody? Thanks for tuning in.
Most definitely. You tune into a show we call here Chin Check. This is when we rock you guys' chin with boxing news, boxing information, boxing rumors. And sometimes we put a bit of money in you guys' pockets by giving you the odds of the fight. But right now, we want to talk about the fight that we all been waiting for. And a fight we didn't ask for, but I'm gonna be honest, this is a fight that I want to see anyway. A fight that I kind of been asking for, especially as of lately. Ryan Garcia and Tank Davis are going at it on Twitter, man. If you ever noticed, they are pretty much calling each other out. But the rumor that I've been hearing is that the fight is no longer will be in December. It being pushed back to next year, possibly around January time. So, of course, that leaves room for the fight that we all want to see, which is the Errol Spence versus Terrence Crawford fight. Maybe they can squeeze in a little bit and get that December date. I mean, what you think about that?
I think it's possible. I think the second week of December is, I think, the perfect time. I think the week before Christmas is too close. But the first week of December or the second week of December, you got a time slot right there if they want to grab it. That's about November the 19th was the rumor. And like you said, that was reported from sources that probably didn't know they was talking about. They just threw it out there and ran with it. But that's 3 or 4 weeks after the 19th. So from that date, yeah, we could possibly make a fight in that time period, I believe.
Yeah, I think it's very much possible. Speaking of being possible, Errol Spence has also been saying things. Him and Keyshawn Davis are still going back and forth on Twitter. They've been going back and forth since I think about last week, going back and forth on Twitter. But Errol Spence now, he put out two really straight to the point tweets, basically saying the fight is going to happen next. And that, basically told Keyshawn, yeah, you a cheerleader now, but I'm gonna see how you're gonna be heartbroken or something once I put your boy dick in the dirt or some shit like that. He talking shit. He talking that shit, man. I like it. I love that shit. He talking that shit. So that let everybody know that pretty much who's talking, like I did my last video talking about Al Heyman and ESPN going back and forth and all that. All these obstacles is in the way. Errol Spence kind of put like a bulldozer over all those obstacles, letting everybody know that, the fight is next. I don't want to hear nothing else. That's all you need to know is that the fight is next. So you think the casual fans will get this message now and actually stop going back and forth with the bullshit about who's ducking who when it comes to the fighters per se, and actually start listening to what the fighters saying now that Errol Spence has finally came out and said something else about the fight?
No, I know. I think it's still gonna be the same thing. I looked on Facebook and Instagram today, and people are saying the same stuff. People still pointing fingers. But yeah, Crawford told a lie. Yeah, he said he agreed to everything. Oh, Spence want to talk now. It's like a back and forth thing. The setup, like you said, the thing that everybody should have been grasping to was the fact that Spence said the fight is gonna happen. The fact that he said, I'm gonna put his dick in the dirt, which pretty much means I'm gonna beat his ass. So he telling you this fight is gonna happen next, and you guys are more worried about who is right, who is wrong between the two fan bases. Like I said, I talked about it on the last video. We need to be more concerned with the sport of boxing and the fight itself, and not being too invested into a camp or a certain team or Crawford or Spence. Like you said, you a Crawford fan, a big Crawford fan. I'm a bigger Spence fan. But I'm more excited to see the fight, not just, Spence got 60% and Bud gonna get 40, or Spence calling the shot. He controlling. He his own boss. I don't care about that shit. I'm not getting none of that money from neither guy. I just want to see them in the ring. I want to see them have a classic fight. I want to see them be able to walk out the ring with all their faculties in place, and I want to see them make a whole lot of money to secure their future, man. That's all I want to see.
Yeah, I also like the fact that Errol Spence talk, especially since Terrence Crawford been doing all the yapping about, Al Heyman not wanting to fight. So that made me, I'm not gonna lie, that made me a little bit more comfortable with the fact that Errol is not falling for the bullshit. At some point, they're gonna have to get what? Errol, at the end of the day, Errol is the king of what happens in this fight. Terrence Crawford can cry and whine all he wants. He really has to. He's the one who has to sign the contract. He's the B-side. So Crawford, he can whine and cry all he wants. Al Heyman can try to stop the fight all he wants. Al Heyman can throw whatever obstacle he wants in the way. He can try to say Terrence Crawford won't sign this, so we won't have no fight. Al Heyman, at some point, you're going to have to give. If it is true, if the rumors what ESPN said last week, I keep saying if it's true because allegedly, the sources are not that strong of sources. So if what they said is true, Al Heyman don't have too much say in it. At some point, he's going to have to get Earl what he wants. He's the commodity. He's the person who actually have control over his career. So if you say it's no Keith Thurman fight, or that I'm not fighting nobody else, the fight is next. At some point, Al gonna have to say, you know what, all right, get Crawford what he want. If he want, he done Crawford. Like I said, the rumor is true. Crawford already took the shorter end of the stick. He done took the money. So if now what's left of it is just some bullshit like seeing the books, then let the man see the books, man. Why is that holding up the fight? That's some shit that real fans like us really don't care about. Like my boy Mon says last video, like you just said a minute ago. We the one who paying them the money. So why do we care? We not getting a cut of that money. I don't care where my money go. At the end of the day, my money is going to see the fight. I don't care how they split it. I don't care. That's I'm gonna leave like that. I don't care what the money goes. As long as I'm paying to see the fight. So I'm gonna be entertained regardless. But how much time do you think will go on before Terrence Crawford come with a response?
Terrence Crawford gonna respond before you'll see a response by 10/6. By October the 6th, Crawford gonna respond. He gonna say something. And he's not gonna be 24 hours. So I expect him to say something. But like I said, I enjoy it. I'm like you. I like the competitive nature of both of these guys. They both are very quiet, you know what I'm saying, laid back dudes. But when you poke them, that mean side come out and they can talk that shit. So I think the promotion for this fight gonna be crazy because they too competitive. I think they're gonna be throwing shots at the press conference. I think it's gonna be a lot of talking, subliminal message leading up to the fight, and I can't wait to see it, man. I'm just ready for them to announce that date. I'm just ready to hear the date so I can make my plans.
I am real ready too, man. I think, like you said earlier, I think Christmas time, right before Christmas, the week before Christmas, it's probably right on time, man. Like you said, I think the day before, the week before Thanksgiving is too soon, and it's not really gonna work. But that between Thanksgiving and between Christmas time, it's probably like the perfect gap because it's in between holidays, and I don't know if they possibly afraid by that though, because by being between the holidays, maybe it might affect sales. That might affect people Christmas shopping, especially if they want to do like a wilder price point where it's going to be $80, $75 price point. So they might want to pushing it back, but I don't know, man. I'm optimistic, man. I think if it don't be in December, I'm optimistic saying it will be, like you said, it'll be possibly in February, I think.
I don't know. I don't think it'll be in February. No, only reason I say is it can't be in February. Well, it could be. It could be late February. It can't be the beginning of February because that's Super Bowl. And you do not try to go head up with the Super Bowl. So, yeah, you can do February, but it's going to have to be late February. You can't do it Valentine weekend, and you can't do it Super Bowl weekend. So it'll have to be late February. So it have to be, if you can't get it in December, and if Tank and Garcia are actually going to fight in January, which I would love to see that too, we're looking at either, like you said, mid-December or probably late February or early March.
I was talking about this too when you was talking. Usually February be the Wilder date. Usually Wilder, when it comes to PBC, usually Wilder has the big February date. When it's on Fox anyway. But would you think that this fight is big enough to push back a Wilder fight? We know for a fact it's a big enough fight to push back a Tank Davis fight, which is Ryan Garcia. But you think it's big enough to push back a Wilder fight, especially if it's a Wilder versus Usyk fight?
Yeah, I think, my opinion, Crawford and Spence is big enough to push anybody back at this stage. I think the fight is too big. I think, like I said, it's only a couple fights that can challenge it. Like you said, Usyk and Wilder and Joshua. Other than that, it's probably no other fight that can compete with that. Another fight that could kind of be in the area is Benavidez and Canelo. But other than that, there's no other fight that can compete with that. So pretty much every other fight got to work around that fight. Yep. They pretty much get to set the tone, and everybody's got to follow. That's why you see a lot of fighters on PBC saying they kind of held up. I seen Boots Ennis say it. I seen Keith Thurman, of course, say it. But they can't really get fight dates until they figure out the Terrence Crawford and Spence saga. So everybody kind of on PBC kind of on hold because you can't make a schedule until that fight is set.
But Boots and Thurman gonna be on hold anyway because they're welterweights. So they want to keep their championship. They gotta wait. They gotta wait because they want to keep their championship spot. Especially Keith. Maybe Boots not as much because I think Boots will fight anybody. I don't think Boots cares. I think Boots trying to be a household name. I think Thurman, who's already a household name, quote unquote, I think his next fight is risky. So I think he's mostly waiting because all he want to do is fight for the belts. And he don't want to risk his spot as a number one WBC mandatory by fighting somebody risky. So he's more so impatient than I think Boots is. I think Boots is patiently waiting. Boots is younger. The sky's the limit for Boots. I think Boots will fight. He'll fight Keith Thurman right now, but I don't think Keith Thurman will fight Boots. You know what I'm saying? I don't think Keith Thurman will fight nobody above Stanley Leonis, in my opinion. I think he'll fight somebody on that level and below, in my opinion. But yeah, you got anything else from that to this topic, man?
I think we covered it all. I guess maybe tomorrow we can chop it up and maybe talk about the fight this weekend. If it's interesting to you, that's the Pandora and Ocampo, and maybe think we can take from that fight.
Yeah, cause I do want to kind of chop it up about how Ocampo said that when he fought Spence, he made a key mistake that he remedied. Kind of like he wanted a Spence rematch all of a sudden now. If I remember correctly, Ocampo got stopped in the first round, didn't he? It's just a fast-ass mistake, man. I don't know. But we'll chop it up on tomorrow, man. But with that being said, man, this is, of course, your favorite channel, man, CTB. This is Chan Talk Boxing. I'm your boy, Jay Slay. Say peace to him, man.
All right, everybody. Please remember to hit that sub button, like, comment, and subscribe, and so that people can see the video, because we love boxing and you love boxing. But most of all, God, peace, and love, and we out of here.